Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Gyan Bhakti. We are currently studying the scripture Mysticism of Ramayana, commentaries by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananji Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. We are currently studying the Sundarkand, and yesterday we covered the episode where Hanuman was captured and taken to Ravana's palace. Today we will be starting an exciting episode, the burning of Lanka. While Ravana's servants continued to bring more and more combustible materials to burn his tail, Hanuman continued to stretch his tail to such an incredible length that there were no more rags left in the entire royal capital to wrap around it. Then they paraded him through the city on the royal roads and kicked him to the beatings of drums. Finally, they set fire to Hanuman's mighty tail and sat back to watch that poor monkey suffer. Hanuman, however, had a different plan. With his tail burning ferociously, he assumed a small size and slipped out of the cage. Then he swiftly climbed to the top of one of the great palaces and once again assumed his immense size. At that time, Hanuman's divine father, the wind god, set in forth 49 types of winds and made that fiery tail blaze wildly enough to burn up the whole world. Hanuman roared and laughed, and with his nimble movements he ran from one palace to another, setting the whole city on fire. Demons ran wildly in all directions, not knowing where to go to escape from the flames. Within a few minutes, Hanuman had reduced most of that great city to ashes, and only the palace of Vibhishana remained completely untouched. Content at last with the havoc he had wrought upon the enemy, Hanuman finally jumped into the ocean to quell the flames of his tail. When the fire was extinguished, Hanuman again assumed a small form and appeared before Sita with folded hands as if nothing had just happened. "O mother," he said, "I am going to return to Rama now. Just as Rama sent you a token of a form of a ring, please give me a token of your remembrance of Rama." Sita immediately took a jewel from her forehead and gave it to Hanuman, saying, "Please convey to Rama my adorations and my heartfelt plea that he save me from this misery. Inform him that he must hurry because Ravana has sworn to kill me within 1 month if I do not become his queen." Hanuman then took his leave, reassuring Sita again and again that Rama would rescue her in time and in a most triumphant manner. Lanka Dahan, or Hanuman setting Lanka on fire, is a poetic dramatization of what happens when the fire of wisdom, or Jnana-Agni, flares up within the unconscious due to the power of sadhana Shakti, or spiritual effort. When an aspirant intensifies his practice of meditation, he begins to enjoy samadhi, the spiritual fire that causes great change in his unconscious, and nothing can stop it. Even if there are millions of negative impressions from countless lives, they cannot really fetter the positive movement. Rather, the fire of wisdom rages relentlessly through the unconscious and burns those impressions all up, it melting them down as it passes all the castles of illusion that one has built through endless time. In this process, the way is prepared for the final victory of the soul over ignorance. Next episode, Hanuman returns and Rama's army is mobilized. After taking leave of Sita, Hanuman assumed his gigantic form and sprung into the air, setting forth a mighty roar that created tremor in the hearts of the demons. In a very short time, he crossed the ocean and landed on the shore where the other monkeys and bears had been waiting in a state of suspense for his return. When they heard Hanuman's jubilant sounds and saw his radiant face, they were overcome with joy, knowing that he had successfully accomplished the mission. After welcoming Hanuman and learning about his exploits, they all set out towards Kishkinda, where Rama and Sugriva were waiting for the news of Sita. When they arrived there, exhausted, hungry, and thirsty, the monkeys and bears went directly to the royal garden and started plundering the honey hives of the fruit trees. Seeing this wild behavior, the protectors of the garden rushed to Sugriva crying, "O Sugriva, help us! Hanuman and Angada and all the other monkeys and bears have returned and are now ruining the garden." Instead of being angry when he heard this, Sugriva became thrilled because he knew that surely those heroes had accomplished their task. After indulging themselves in the garden, Hanuman and the others presented themselves before King Sugriva and were welcomed with great affection. Then they all set out to bring Rama the news he had been waiting for. Rama hurried to meet the approaching devotees and listened eagerly as Jambavan told of Hanuman's heroic deeds. Hanuman then produced the crest jewel that Sita had given him and conveyed her message to Rama, saying, "The sufferings of Sita are beyond description. Every moment she passes is endless for her. Therefore, O Rama, hasten to where Sita is and swiftly destroy those terrible demons so that you can bring Sita back." With his eyes filled with tears, Rama said, "O Hanuman, when I think of how indebted I am to you, I cannot even face you. How am I to repay you for your kindness?" Hearing those words, Hanuman was overpowered with love and he fell at the feet of Rama. Lifting Hanuman up gently, Rama asked him how he had managed to accomplish his great feats in Lanka. With profound humility and devotion, Hanuman replied, "It is you who enabled me to do all those things. It is your glory, not mine. O Rama, if you are really pleased with me, then the only boon I ask is ceaseless devotion to your lotus feet." Deeply moved by these simple words steeped in humility, Rama said, "May it be so," and embraced his great devotee warmly. Rama then spoke triumphantly to Sugriva, saying, "Now let us prepare for the destruction of Ravana. There is no need to delay another moment. Command your army to march." And the moment Rama said that, gods showered flowers from the heavenly worlds, and that there was great rejoicing because it was for the sole purpose of destroying Ravana that Rama had incarnated on this earth, and that goal was soon going to be attained. So what a beautiful episode, and we will continue this satsanga tomorrow. This is Swami Nikhilananda. I hope you're enjoying these deep, profound stories, episodes of Ramayana in general, and in particular the deep mystical meaning and how Swami Jyotirmayananji Maharaj has guided us through our own journey of the soul and how to interpret the deep meanings that have been given in the Ramayana for us to learn profound lessons from and apply them in our journey towards self-realization or liberation or mukti. With this, let's close this satsanga for today, and I will see you in tomorrow's satsang. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.